This is the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, where it's all about getting the information you need from successful leading marketers to build and grow your digital marketing agency. Brought to you by Itamar Shafir, founder and CEO of Umbrella, the technology platform and brand that is powering thousands of marketing agencies around the country. Find him at umbrellaus.com. And now, here's your host, Itamar Shafir.
Welcome to the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, where we talk with successful marketing experts about ways to build and grow a digital marketing agency. My guest today is a multi-seven-figure business entrepreneur. She is the best-selling author of No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing with Dan Kennedy, The Ultimate Guide to Instagram for Businesses, The Game Changer, How to Get 10,000 Fans in 72 Hours. I'm going to ask her about that. She's a renowned international speaker that worked alongside great names such as Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, and Kevin O'Leary, and others. I'm excited to say hello to Kim Walsh Phillips. Hey, Kim.
Hey, how are you? It's so great to be here.
Oh, wow. I have so many questions for you, and I bet our listeners do too as well. It's not every day that you get a person who can 10x any traffic funnel, and especially on social media. So I'm looking forward for that. But before we get into how we help our agency members get better ROI with their social media marketing, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to being in the place you are, helping entrepreneurs and helping, businesses scaling up their social.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for asking. So back in the day, I started a public relations firm because someone had come to me that knew me from another job that I had. And she said she wanted to hire me. She said, I think you should own your own business. I want to be your first client. It was amazing. And I started doing public relations and event planning work on the side while I had a full-time job. And then finally, when I had grown it enough to equal my salary at my full-time job, I gave notice. And so I really didn't have a business plan in place. I didn't have any business background. I didn't know how to run an effective business, but I thought, if I could make my salary with just having some clients, that's great. But then of course, as things do, our business scaled and I had to bring on staff and I didn't know how to control the growth. Like I was relying upon word of mouth and referral in order to grow. And that's something you just can't control. When it was great, but there was this one day where I had to hawk my engagement ring in order to make payroll because a check had not come in from a client on time. And I knew that we needed to do something different. So I asked a super successful friend of mine, what is something he was doing to grow his business? And he shared with me a book by Dan Kennedy called The No BS Guide to Direct Response Marketing. And I was hooked. I saw for the first time marketing could go get me clients, and I didn't have to rely upon word of mouth or branding in order to hope somebody would come hire me. The problem was Dan talked multiple times inside the book how digital marketing did not work and how social media was terrible. And that's the thing that I did. So I'm like, okay, well, now I have to find a way to apply direct response to social media. And we did. It started to work for us and then our clients. And I eventually got to meet Dan. I showed him what I had done. He was so impressed and he became a client of mine. He started giving me his private clients. I got to co-author a book with him. That's his best-selling book now of all time. And we were able to grow our agency from struggling to multiple seven-figure that I sold at the end of 2017. And we use those same strategies today in our new company. We landed on the Inc. 5000 within 3 years of opening using these same strategies that you and I are going to talk about today. So I'm super stoked for that.
Nice. Wow. That's quite a story. So actually, starting from basically a day job, moving into entrepreneurial agency, which is like 80% of how our members started, and being a great success. And now, a coach and a speaker. So, okay, so I want to get 10,000 fans in 72 hours. Okay. And how do I do that? That's like a bold statement. I know you can't probably take us through the entire strategy, but maybe a few steps of how do you see a business kind of organically or with a low budget scaling their fan base very fast?
It's really important that they do. First off, I want to mention that because when someone goes to hire you to be professional service provider, they want to know that they're not the first. They don't want to be your test market because they're spending their time and money with you. And if you think about it, when we go to buy something on Amazon, we look at two side-by-side products, right? And we look at which one has the best reviews. And then if they both have the same review rating and they both have the same price, we're going to buy the one that has more reviews. Our brain does something called tribe mentality, where it chooses the most popular option in a protection of us, because we want to make sure that we're not going into the forest by ourselves so we could get eaten by the bear. It's all about safety, and your subconscious brain is picking this all the time. So you do want a big following online. It is the first thing that people will look at when they look at your page. How many followers do you have? And I mean, admit it, when you visit someone on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, you look at that. How many connections do they have? So the good news is with Facebook, you can actually get followers very quickly. And it's called a promote your page ad. And you can find it right on your business page inside of Facebook. It's promote page. And you can choose all of the demographics that make a great client of yours. Maybe you're specializing in law firms, or you're specializing for health coaches, whatever it might be that your niche is. And then you want to make the location. You're going to type in the secret hidden option, which is worldwide. And when you type in worldwide, it actually creates this huge audience for you to go after. And with Facebook, the secret is the bigger you can target, the cheaper it is. And so you'll be able to grow a following that has the right demographics, but maybe isn't the right location, but it'll bring that number up. But it'll also set up Facebook's algorithm for you, because now it's showing these are the types of people that I want to work with. So when you place an ad to get clients later on, it has set up a campaign to say, oh, okay, now I see that these are the types of people that you want to be able to work with. Now that you put United States on it, or Canada, or London, or wherever you might be located, then you're going to be able to get the clients for your business much less expensive.
That's amazing. And when I do that promote a page, do I need to create a special ad for it, or is it kind of an automatic thing by Facebook?
You do create, they will let you run just with an image of your page. I recommend that you create an ad. You're going to create a quote post, because it's something that anybody could like. It should be a motivational quote, 5 words or less, and you want to make sure it only takes up 20% of the image with the text. The rest should be white space around it. And the background should be yellow. The text should be black. And you want to keep it so it's super obvious in the news feed. That's why you do that, because it's going to stand out from a very crowded news feed, that there's this bright sign in people's way to show them a quote. And then when they like it, they'll like the page.
I love it. That's amazingly specific. Thank you. Many times asked questions, I always get good answers, but it's not so specific. And that's exactly what people want. So I really appreciate it. So you're saying actually a quote ad, and what if somebody has, what they consider as good content? For example, they do a podcast, or they do something that has, real value to the people that potentially can become fans. You're saying put your ego aside for a second, because a quote will work better than any content you produced?
Yeah. And also, like, it gets into, but my branding colors aren't yellow. No, neither are mine. We never even wear yellow. The reason why you're doing it is not because this is what we think is pretty. We're doing this because this is what works for ROI. So yes, no one knows who you are unless you're Kim Kardashian or you're Tony Robbins running a marketing agency. Don't put your face anywhere near there. Don't put the name of your business. Don't put your logo. Nobody knows what that is. Put a quote that they can agree with without having to know you. And that's what will work well in that ad.
And do you think it needs to be a niche specific quote, or it can be like a human relevant quote?
Not niche specific. The one that I use is "You were made to thrive." That's it. That's what it says.
Amazing. That's okay. So we have that. So let's say, I imagine that's not going to cost a lot, because you specifically built that tactic to.
You can get it between $100 and $200 total. You'll get 10,000 followers.
Geez. So you have 10,000 fans. net followers. Now you want to kind of start, monetizing those people, whether it's usually for agencies, for appointments. They want to get somebody on the call to discuss, their potential marketing needs. What do you think the first steps should be in building that funnel?
Yeah, you want to build out the MOM funnel because Mom, this one right here, knows best. And that is that M, you want to be magnetic for your perfect prospect and something that they could get benefit from right now. Then O, we're going to get them to opt in because you know that you don't own the lead if they follow you on Facebook or they're a follower on Instagram. You want to own the contact information so that you can follow up. And then the final M is monetize. This is where we are going to offer them an opportunity to book an appointment with us, all in the same funnel. So for your first M, for being magnetic, I want you to get uber specific, and a hack you can use is to create what we call a framework. Now, this is something that would mean that it's your proprietary thing, and if they don't get it through you, they won't be able to Google it. Okay, so the way you can do this is you create an acronym. So you could have like 4 steps. You come up with a big outcome. You're going to need to teach them either how to get more leads, how to get more clients, how to get more sales, because that's what every business owner wants to know. They don't care if it's Google, that the thing is that they don't care if it's website, they want to know. So it's either like how to land on page 1 of Google, how to get more customers from your website, how to blah, blah, blah. But you start it with and it could be FAST system or the cash system or the lead system. And you're going to make it an acronym so that they see, ooh, what is that? And that's what they're going to do in step 1. That's the gift. You do not put the gift on the thank you page. You tell them, congratulations, your blah, blah, blah is on its way, but you're not done yet. Then you have a video telling them that you could create a personalized plan for them in a complimentary call. You normally charge a certain amount of money, but you're going to end a call with them right now, and they're going to book that call with you on that page. Then you want to make sure you have a retargeting ad set up. So anybody who visits that thank you page but doesn't book a call sees your face. It can be, I'm not saying you go right to booking an appointment, but this is where you share with them thought leadership in videos. This is where you start to share some of your valuable posts of content. And then because you have your email, you want to make sure they're getting an email campaign. And again, we'll continually be asking them to get on a call with you.
Right. So thank you very much. That was, again, very specific. I love it. So one thing is getting on a call with us, right? And that's super important. And once we get them on the call, we can help them. But what if I want to, from experience, I feel that I need a little bit more pre-sale in order to get somebody, because I have a complex sale, or, I kind of have a complex funnel or a complex thing, and I don't want to get somebody too cold on the call right now with me. I don't know if they, their marketing needs, they're not boiled yet, they don't like me yet. If there's some sort of continuation to that funnel where I can still monetize them in some way, just to recoup my ad spend, and then kind of grill them and nurture them on an email campaign until they're ready on the lead score to kind of have a conversation with me.
Yeah. So if you're going to completely to cold, then what you make that step 1 is it should be a masterclass that you're inviting them on, not just a gift or a download. Because if you invite them onto a webinar masterclass, you're able to have that conversion conversation really within that 45 minutes to an hour that they're on with you. And that's really how I turned my business around. I did all one-on-one, word of mouth, referral marketing, and then we started to grow on social. And actually my book also helped, my first book when it came out. We started getting people interested, which is great, but then we realized we could actually go out and get people using ads. But I wasn't going to do one-on-one calls all day long. Like, I would rather bang my head against the wall than do that, because at least I would be burning calories, banging, And so I created a masterclass that really took them through, showing them the huge opportunity that exists when you use social media to grow your business. And at the end of the masterclass, they had 2 options. One, they could buy a course from me for $1,000, because there's some that won't hire an agency. They just wanted to do it themselves. Or number 2, I sold a rocket launch package that was $5,000, and it covered 30 days of services. I also created their strategic plan. And That was people paying me to create a proposal, which most agencies do for free. It was great. And then if they didn't buy one of those two options, they were then in a nurture sequence with us that would be getting my marketing. And I am a high engagement marketer for years. And it's going to sound crazy to people, but I send a daily email, and they are content driven. They're always storytelling about something that happened. Like my email I wrote for tomorrow is all about, like, I bought this, we're doing an event here at my home studio, and I bought a 70-inch TV. So I just talked about buying the TV and how I went to find somebody to find out what the best one was, and how you have to go to an expert and blah, blah, blah. And I'll tie it around to a business lesson, but I tell these engagements. So if you just join my list, we're going to get to know each other pretty quickly in that path. So I think you do need to give people an opportunity to buy from you right away. I believe if you don't, you're doing a disservice. They showed up, they have a problem, you have an ability to solve it, but there are only 5% of people who will say yes right then. So the rest of your marketing has to be for the 95% who weren't ready to buy just yet.
Right. That's a perfect scenario. And would you do still kind of a download and on the TY page and opt into the webinar, or direct to webinar from the ad?
Direct to webinar, but I would allow them to schedule. And I like using Easy Webinar, is the automated webinar software that we use. It doesn't do on demand. It does next 15 minutes. And then you can also have 2 program times, and those seem to work the absolute best. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if I'm an agency and I'm on a budget in terms of my marketing, what do you think? Would you say Facebook is my best social venue to get clients on?
Clubhouse would be your absolute best social venue to get clients on. It was an answer I couldn't have given before January, but it's completely free. And let me tell you it's just been amazing. I love Clubhouse so much. But we were putting on an event. So this isn't direct client services. Let me just give you the scenario. We're putting on an event. It's a 3-day enrollment event. And it's all about getting people to join our coaching program. And I promoted on Clubhouse for 2 weeks. I sold 400 tickets to the event. Nice. 330 people checked in. 200 of them were on when I made my offer. I sold $637,000 worth of coaching, and $300,000 of it came from Clubhouse. Wow. People I had just met 2 weeks ago. We have another event this week. I have 118 tickets sold. 79 of them have come from Clubhouse. The people who are on that platform are there seeking solutions. They want to know, they want to up level, they're looking for growth. Just like podcast listeners, your audience is amazing. Those of you listening right now, you've chosen to up level. You had to go to a phone, open up an app and listen. And so you're in the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of listeners. And you and I both know podcast listeners are an amazing client base. So are book readers, because they had to pick up a book, they had to read it, they had to go to URL, there's hoops they have to jump through that frankly most people won't do. Mm-hmm. Clubhouse is that same way, but it's like massive, and you can show up. I'm going to give you a quick hack on this. So the way that I do it is I have a masterclass. I use an old school way of doing masterclasses. It's GoToWebinar, like your grandfather's software. I still love it. Still my favorite. I love it. And they offer a really nice simulated replay option right now. And you don't need to set up a whole big campaign. You don't have to set up a landing page. It works really, really well. So what I'll do is if I have like a few minutes to jump on Clubhouse, I will.
This podcast is brought to you by Umbrella. Have an agency? Check out umbrellaus.com to grow it today.
I will create a simulated replay, let's say for 5 p.m. And then I'll get on Clubhouse at 4 p.m. and I will give massive value in the room for the hour. And then I'll have a call to action. I'm doing a masterclass at the top of the hour, and always say top of the hour on Clubhouse because people have different time zones all around the world. But I'm doing a masterclass at the top of the hour. If you'd like to join me, send me a DM with the word class, and they'll send me a DM with the word class. And then they'll get on this webinar that I don't have to give because it's automated. And I literally will push people in. So I just did this yesterday, 57 people from an hour-long room that had no prep time, super engagement, jumped onto a webinar and bought from me. Like, there's no funnel, there's no email campaign, there's no advertising cost.
Wow.
There's 1 hour of service that I provide. That's it. I mean, it's a whole new world.
Yeah, wow, it is. That's very impressive. But you probably, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're you know, and you're very much, you're talented and your personality, and people are interested in conversing with you, and people are interested in, you know, getting advice from you. But what if somebody, you know, is less known, has less hours on webinars and being social and you know, talking with people and speaking and advising, get on that platform? Would they have the same impact?
Yeah,
Or
you're going to have to spend some time on there getting to know people and providing massive value. What the rooms you want to look for, and if you're listening right now, you're an expert, you have value to share. So you're the absolute best person to use this strategy, because you can go on a stage on Clubhouse and offer value. People will recognize that, they will follow you, they will DM you, and they will ask you to be part of their rooms moving forward, even if you have a small follower count. So what you want to do, and it's interesting because most of the connections I've made on that platform have come from people I did not know before. So I really did start, and this strategy I just shared with you, by the way, those are in rooms that I only have like 30 to 60 people in. I don't have huge rooms. So you can fill a webinar up with very small rooms and still have a high ROI. So it's amazing. But what you want to look for, you want to look for your sweet spot, whatever your industry is that you specialize in for marketing. And then you want to look for AMA rooms, ask me anything rooms, because that means they allow people to go up on stage. And when you go into those rooms, or if it's a Q&A room, you want to make sure it's a room that will actually let you get on stage, because that is where you need to go to showcase your brilliance. And what you want to do is, the first sentence that you want to say is, and you got to get this all in like 15 seconds, but you want to say, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. And give some awesome fact about the kind of work that you do. Like, and I get like gyms on the first page of Google, and I get PR stories for new authors. I'm looking to, and then you say the next thing. Like, and so my whole thing was, and this is like verbatim what I did. I got on stage and I said, hey, I have an upcoming event, and one of my clients, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, name drop, 100% on purpose. One of my clients, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, is in ads with me, and we get negative comments sometime because of that. Do you guys think that you should delete the comments? Should I block the people? What should I do with it? And then they're all like, what? Who's this person? Let me check her bio. And I did that with only a couple hundred followers, but it instantly went like, and I got on the stage, moderator badge, started being invited up more. So give some kind of intro that shares something awesome about what you do, and then asks your question that isn't taking away from your expertise. You're in marketing, so do not get on stage and ask them how to get more clients. I love all of you. I love that you're listening to this podcast, but you want to be the expert in the room, so don't do that, okay? Instead, you say, hey, I have a client and I've gotten this kind of results. Is that what you guys are seeing inside the marketplace? That's a good one to ask too.
Okay, perfect. Wow. Guys, you know, that's amazing. Nonstop value. Let me ask you, when people get to your actual coaching program, you provide so much value, so much detailed value for free. When they get to your actual coaching program, I know you have the powerful professional coaching group. What do they do there? Like, what's the difference between, you know, some of the programs that you put out there that really helps people in a very detailed way to grow, and having, beside the one-on-one, and having be part of a coaching group? Is that mainly the one-on-one, or are there other main factors to help with the success?
I love that you asked that question. Here's the thing. I've been a part of other people's programs for a long time. And the number one thing I see people struggle with is information overload and a lack of implementation. And so I believe that God put me on this earth to spark something in others about the whisper that they have, like they're being called to do something. And I want to tell them that's not an accident, that's on purpose. and here's how to do it. And then, so we actually have complete hands on everything. So let me just give you an example in my one program that we teach people how to launch their first or next course. I personally review everybody's slides and give them complete feedback. They get a template of an entire slide deck and script to say. We build out their funnel for them, their landing page, their thank you page, their email campaign. We have weekly calls with my coach on Facebook ads who actually gets inside their ads manager and fixes their ads for them. I have a strategy coach they can get on when they want to look at changing their niche. Like, it is not just advice, but it is I write their course title for them. I write their course copy for them, because these are all the places I see people struggle. There's these amazing coaches out there, like people who can help your child cope when they have autism, somebody who can help you retire with wealth, somebody else who can help you get healthy, but they don't serve the world because they don't know how to do the tech. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. We can't let these people suffer anymore just because they don't know how to set up a landing page. So I'm like, all right, we're going to tell them, yes, you have a gift. Yes, it needs to be shared with the world. And here's how you're going to do it. So I've scaled up team. That's been the way that I've done it. All of my expenses inside my company are my team that I empower so that we can serve as many people as possible. And if you ask me all the time, what's the number thing I'm working on? It's hiring more people, because the more I can bring into my team, the more we can serve. We launched our newest coaching program last July when everything happened in the world. And it's like, okay, this needs to happen right now. Because if we're going to make the world better, it's not going to happen from government. It's going to happen from individuals who make a difference. And we have 147 people in this amazing coaching program who've all launched a course, who've all served their market, who've done a webinar. Like, it's not hoping to, they've done it. And so it's incredible. Thank you for asking me that question.
And my pleasure. And you're taking them from A to Z, right? It's not just reviewing their deck and helping them with the webinar. It's also afterwards helping them with the funnel, like you do now, like you're doing now, and the advertising and everything related to it, right? Yeah,
it's scaling too. So one of the folks, Maureen, I met her in Clubhouse, so full circle story. She came in my room and she shared who her market was. She was working with SCORE, if you know what that is, but it helps new business owners. And she was selling courses for $36. And I said, Maureen, you've got to raise your prices. And I said, I want to talk to you, come to my event. She came to the event, she became a coaching client. She just launched her first webinar to sell her first course. She did $16,000 sales. She sold 16 people on her first webinar, $1,000 course. She used to sell $36. She made $16,000 her first time. She had not hit over $50,000 in revenue in her company yet. And in 1 hour, she made $16,000. And I was amazing. Like, actually, you can just do it each week. So yeah, I mean, it's like how you get started into the finish line. And I mean, I don't begrudge anybody who has a program that just basically shows you what's possible. I know some people just need to be motivated, but I saw people getting stuck with, what do I call this thing? What do I charge for this thing? How do I scale it? How can I get traffic? And so we said, we're going to give them the whole thing. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And you're probably helping, I know you're helping a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life, meaning I saw a PI guy on your website, and the nutrition person, and finance. So a lot of different entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Do you see any repeating patterns between the ones that tend to be more successful and the ones that don't make it so much?
Great question. It is the willingness to follow a blueprint is really the only dividing factor from those that are successful and those that aren't. There are people that let ego get in the way, like, I can figure it out better. Let me tweak this, make that change, reinvent the wheel. And then there's the other side of it is, I'm too nervous to follow the blueprint because what if it doesn't work? And so I have to work with people on mindset to take that next step, because let me tell you, if you don't do anything, you failed. People think if I don't do anything, I can't fail. No. If you didn't do anything, you failed because you didn't do anything. If you do something, it's going to be better than the nothing that you have right now. So I have to work with them on mindset to get them to take this step. And then I have to get them with discipline to stay on the course that they're supposed to be following and not get distracted by other shiny objects. So those are really it. If you follow a blueprint of a successful individual that works, will work. Like it will work, but you have to be willing to take the steps needed, which requires, again, discipline and it's okay to be scared. We're all scared, but it's putting that mission in front of your comfort so you keep moving forward even when you are really scared.
You define it perfectly. I think the fact that you have people that are, on one hand, are really scared, maybe this blueprint is not the right blueprint, and other people that think it may be the right blueprint, but are not ready to follow it 100%. They don't have the time, they don't have the energy, they don't have the accountability. Yeah, that's perfect. So it's really about kind of breaking them a little bit and to help them restructure themselves in a new way.
Yeah, I mean, it's that way. What I focus on with them, this is how I get them to the other side. Whenever I can get their focus off of themselves and onto the person that they were created to serve. So we just focus on it. This isn't about you. It's not about how you're going to look on camera. It's not about you, that you don't like the sound of your voice. It's not about that you don't want to get up on a Clubhouse stage. This isn't about you. This is about the person that you can help right now. And so are you going to put your ego in front of your mission, or are you going to go out and serve your market? And so we focus back on mission all the time and keeping that as your big why. I do that with my team. Every single week, I still with my staff, every single week, every Tuesday, we have You Make a Difference Tuesday, where we focus on the difference their work is making on the people that we serve and the difference those people make on their market. And so it's just good for us to continually focus back on what is the big picture, why we're doing it, the world that we can change, and the butterfly effect that we can have when we truly focus on the person we were created to serve from the very beginning.
I love it. So, you just gave me an advice. You're giving the listeners advices. You have your coaching group that you're giving advices nonstop. Do you remember an advice that had a tremendous effect on you, maybe once when you got started or recently?
It was my early mentor, Kevin, or Dan Kennedy, who said, the higher up the flagpole you go, the more, he didn't use this word, but I will, the more your tush is exposed. And it was really good advice, because when I started putting myself out there more, I did start getting criticized, but instead of fearing it, I celebrated it. And I do that with my coaching clients now. They have a checklist and they create a moment that they will celebrate when they get their 10th negative comment online. It's a moment of celebration, because when you've had 10 negative comments, that means you showed up for your target market. That means you're playing bigger, you're getting out of your comfort zone, and you're truly making the impact and the difference that you need to make in order to not only grow your business, but make the impact that you've been desiring to make on the world.
Nice. I'm sure Dan Kennedy didn't use the word tush. That's for
one of my favorite words. So there you go.
So our final part of the podcast, we have a rapid Q&A.
Great.
I'm going to ask you a few questions. You need to answer fast. These are not edgy questions, but if you feel uncomfortable with any of them, just say pass.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
Did you get along with your parents growing up?
Yes.
Do you have siblings?
Yes.
Do you have a pet?
Yes. Wait,
do you have kids?
I think this won't be on camera, but there she is sleeping right now.
It will a little bit on YouTube as well.
Okay, cool.
Do you have kids?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How old were you when your first kid was born?
I was 35.
When do you wake up?
I wake up at 4:30 a.m.
Wow. When do you get to bed?
11.
Ideal vacation?
A beach with a drink in my hand.
Are you a woman of faith?
Deep faith. Faith is my guiding purpose of every day.
Excellent. Wonderful. I'll tell you why I do it. I'm trying to, after all the interviews, trying to find correlations and patterns, see if a lot of all the people that I interview are very successful marketers, and they're marketers and they're successful. So trying to see if there is some sort of cohesiveness in that group. And up until now, beside one, everybody are people of faith. I'm thinking maybe it's because of the higher emotional intelligence marketers have, or maybe
we put our mission in front of our comfort because the calling is higher. So I think you're more likely to get through the fear if you have a faith, because gosh, being an entrepreneur is certainly unnerving sometimes, isn't it? And if you don't have something to guide you, I really don't know and people do, and I welcome them. I do pray in my stuff. When we're doing something, I will always say, hey, I'm going to pray. If you don't want to, I love you anyway. And I always say that because everybody is welcome in my world, and I have people of all faiths, but I really do wonder if you don't, how you get to that other side. So I would say you need someone very strong in your life, a coach or someone to believe in you, because it is nerve-wracking sometimes. It is scary. It is that moment of, I don't know, and I'm not sure. And I can lean on God in that moment. If you don't have that, that's cool. Find someone you can lean on, because you really need something to help you get to that other side of yes.
I completely agree. And most of the people that I interview do as well. Guys, one thing that Kim is giving you, if you go to powerfulprofessionals.com /FB Profits, you would find a course, a free course, no pitches, just a free course about Facebook advertising. And as you can hear, Kim is a maven when it comes to Facebook advertising, social advertising in general. But every advice that she gave on this podcast today was absolutely on mark, very detailed, very specific, which is unusual in a very good way, unusual. And I really, really appreciate it. Kim, you were wonderful, amazing advice. Thank you very much for being with me.
Thank you for honoring me and by asking me to be a guest. It's been a pleasure being with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, where we provide the information you need from successful leading marketers to build and grow your digital marketing agency. Your host has been Itamar Shafir, founder and CEO of Umbrella, the technology platform and brand that is powering thousands of marketing agencies around the country. Find him at umbrellaus.com.